Hey everyone, my name is Zvi Band. I am incredibly excited to be one of the mentors at Think Nimble. I have a box here. I don't know what's in the box. It's been sitting here for the past couple of days. So let's go ahead and open this. First problem I realize is like, how do I open a box? I don't know. You normally require scissors. I don't have scissors here, so I'm just going to be stabbing this mindlessly until I open this. I love how it has all this writing saying, please don't open until our chat. My family has been asking a whole bunch of questions about like what's in the box here. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Cool. All right, so I see card. Thank you so much for being a mentor with Think Nimble Labs. Love it. All right, now I have some cards, and I guess I should be going ahead and answering the cards, right? Otherwise, someone will magically run in and yell, saying, "Zvi, you're doing it the wrong way." Otherwise, so. Yep, you say the first thing most people ask you is how to pronounce your name. So my name's Zvi. The funny thing is, it's actually like the Israeli or the Hebrew pronunciation is Zvi, but my great grandfather decided no, like let's spell it ZVI. I'm not someone who's picky, so if you ever work with me, just call me Z or Zivi or Zvi. I honestly don't care. I know you're speaking at my general direction, so I'm cool with that. What's my morning routine? I actually have been a fan of setting up a morning routine. So every day I wake up around 5 a.m. I will normally meditate. I will then sit down. I'll write my to-do list for the day. I'll try and do one personal project that I'm passionate about, like just reflecting on some reading notes or doing some writing or maybe a bit of coding. While we're recording this, I'm actually I'm punishing myself. So I'm in the middle of this stupid 75 hard program. So my day starts with a 45-minute really intense Peloton workout, which I do not enjoy. So don't do that. What's your go-to hot sauce? I know Neil asked these questions because these are the tough ones that most people would know about me, and I don't have good answers for. What's my go-to hot sauce? In general, Yellowbird is like my good like table sauce whenever. The Yellowbird habanero sauce. But the one I'm most a fan of right now is actually called it's Zab's hot sauce, which happens to be my initials. I swear that's not a coincidence. What's the best dinner party you've ever attended? Great question. I'd probably say the best dinner party I've attended is Chris Shembra, who runs the 747 Club in New York City, which is this like dinner club. He invited me to this dinner, and tiny Chelsea apartment, 15 people. Turns out I knew a couple of them, but I won't share like what happens in there. But just for people to just be crying and connecting with each other and hugging each other and just really getting to know each other on a personal level. I remember making amaretto with someone. Just it brought together all the elements of a really great experience that honestly has helped inspire what I'm building today. What's your favorite icebreaker question? I have a lot of questions these days. I mean, if it depends. If people kind of immediately jump into the professional introductions, like, hi, I'm Zvi, I'm an entrepreneur, or like, hi, I'm Jake, I'm a CPA, or hi, I'm Sarah, I'm a software developer. Usually one of the initial questions I'll ask is why? Like, why are you a CPA? Why are you a software developer? Why are you an entrepreneur? Right? Because what they do is a fact. But when you ask anyone why, then you start to get stories. So one of the initial questions that we like to ask now is, why do you live where you live? I don't care where you live. That's not important, but I want to understand who you are in the story. And so even just asking why, it's almost inevitable that there's a very good reason. Even I was speaking to someone the other week, and I asked why they live where they live, and they said, I don't know. And that alone is such an interesting insight. They don't actually have a reason why they're there, and it's not important where they live. How do you know it was time to leave Compass and start your new venture? So Steve Jobs has this kind of line that I'm butchering, that like you'll kind of know it's time when everyone has like a bad day, for example, but you'll know it's time for a big change or something's wrong when you wake up repeatedly day in, day out. I actually take the inverse of that, where I kind of told myself that I would leave Compass and start a new company, not when I didn't want to work there anymore, or not when I was ready to start a new company, but when I couldn't stop thinking about a particular problem or idea or concept, and I had to go do that. And so that's and what ended up happening. Now, the general mindset, though, for most founders or second-time founders, is you should take time off between ventures. I kind of knew that wouldn't really be my case, not only because there's a global pandemic and what am I going to do? Spend 7 days in a silent meditation retreat or something like that? No, but I knew that the only thing that would get me off track of what I'm currently on is when I couldn't stop thinking about a new idea, and that's what I'm pursuing now. How do you maintain important friendships in your life? Well, for one, sign up for their mentorship programs for their companies. Hi, Neil. But yeah, I mean, I try a smattering of things, and to be honest, I wrote a book around relationship building. I built a CRM around relationships. I'm building a new software company to help people create and deepen relationships. But in part, it's because I'm not very good at it. I've never felt I've had deeper relationships or deeper friendships, or it's been hard to maintain those. So I try a smattering of things. Obviously I've hosted breakfast series. I'll just randomly email or text someone. When I see someone posting about something on Facebook, I'll send them a message. I try different things, but to be honest, I'm not nearly as regimented as I need to. What is it like starting from scratch after you successfully built and sold a company? It's awesome. Yes, there is a bit of scariness, right? There's a bit of wow, am I really just completely just out floating in space? But at the same time, I have full flexibility and fully control of my destiny. I realize wait, I'm in full control of my calendar. I can choose to spend and allocate my day, my time based on how I want to, not by some other meetings or when the team is available. I'm like, no, I want to structure how I want to. And it's also just so exciting to just be at this formative stage, and not have the answers, and frankly not even needing to know the answers, saying, yeah, we could spend the next year figuring out the answer to that. That's awesome. What is something you're most proud of doing? Great question. For me, obviously the initial answers are, having kids, having a great marriage with my wife, having or building a venture from zero to acquisition. As I've reflected more about this, what I am most proud of is maintaining a balanced life. Now, I think this has been a key topic that I've been spending a lot of my time reflecting on, because, you see some big success, Elon Musk, right? Or someone with 1 million Twitter followers, or someone who just sold their company or something like that. And you kind of get, obviously, the initial attitude, we're humans, we get jealous, oh, I want that person's life. But even Elon Musk in interviews said no, you don't want my life, right? And I think that's such an interesting thing, right? Because I think we all have different priorities or have different levels of balance, and things are going well and things that aren't. And I know many, many friends who are sold their company and are millionaires, but deep down they are miserable people, right? Because they've made huge sacrifices for professional success, right? Or people who've gone the other direction, who are, miserable at work, but they have a great family life. And you can tell that they're really unhappy in some parts. For me, what I'm most proud of is I've at least been able to find, or at least try to maintain, this level of balance. Not one thing is amazing or less amazing, right? So yeah, that's something that comes up. Who do you call for advice? To be honest, this has been an interesting thing, and I don't know if one of the cards is like, "Hey, Zvi, who is your mentor?" Because I don't have one person I call for advice. I've never had like a single person or even like a small like group of people saying, "Hey, this is my mastermind. This is my life common." I've always drifted amongst different people, and so depending on who I need advice from, I'll reach out to anyone, or it could be someone I spoke to yesterday. So I'm a little bit more unmoored than most people, or than even than I'd like to be. What is the one question you get most from other entrepreneurs? Um, I would say nowadays, one of the questions I get a lot is how do you sell your company? Because there's a lot of guidance and mantra and things like that about getting started or fundraising or building your first product. But there's a lot of there's not a lot of guidance around selling a company because it's something very few people have done. And because of the sensitive nature of it, like so much is wrapped up behind NDAs and personal pride and secrecy that like oftentimes like, hey, how did that happen? So I'm always happy to talk to people and tell them like, hey, here's the real deal. Here's how it really works. Beyond that, I get a lot of questions about real estate, technology, and then of course general startup mantra like how do I build a product, how do you build a CRM, etc. What are you currently working on? Yeah, so I'm currently working on two things because I'm crazy. One is I actually have it's a smaller business, but I'm a partner in a real estate coaching business. But really, my focus and what I'm spending most of my waking hours focused on, and I hope will be my magnum opus. As I mentioned, leaving Compass, what is the problem I could spend the next 10 years of my life on? And it's community, right? It's how do we rebuild more human connection? We are an increasingly lonely and disconnected society, in part because of just the tectonic shifts in our culture. How we find our friends and build our communities and build our relationships is completely different than how our parents or grandparents did. It'll be completely different than how our children and grandchildren do. And I believe there's not just an opportunity, but a need for the next great social platform. Peter Diamandis says, the world's biggest problems are the world's biggest opportunities. And the fact that 1 in 2 Americans say they don't have any close friends, the fact that 1 in 4 Gen Zers had suicidal thoughts over summer, the fact that 1 in 6 Americans are on antidepressants now, shows me that there's something fundamentally wrong and broken about how we relate to each other and to ourselves as well. And therefore, there are huge opportunities to find paths forward. So that's what I'm currently working on. It's called Talk Social. If you could impart one piece of advice to someone starting a company today, what would it be? Yeah, and honestly, I spent 7.5 years of Contactually in survival mode. And I resolved that this next venture, I would be happier and I would make sure that like I wasn't a miserable sack and I wasn't driven so much by fear. And I keep going back to a piece of advice that I got from an angel investor, just off the cuff, right? Just threw it off, didn't think too much of it. That's it. He just kind of mentioned it, but it stuck in my head. And he said, like, and this was the beginning of Contactually. He said, like, Zvi, just have fun, right? That's it. Just have fun. And I would say I didn't take it to heart enough in Contactually. And I have to realize that, with this new venture that, hey, this is fun. This is exciting, right? Yeah, like getting rejected by investors or seeing the product not get used the way that you want to, or bugs pop up. Yeah, those hurt, those sting. But like high level, this is a fun adventure. This is something like I wouldn't trade for the world, right? Like this is exciting. Like enjoy this. Like we're all gonna die anyways, not to be morbid, but like, hey, let's enjoy our time here. This is exciting stuff. So why not have fun every day? Why not find things to do? So those are things that come up. So these are my cards. So I hope that was helpful.